5 original nations inhabited New York State. The Iroquois people, or the Haudenosaunee. Here, specifically, the Onondaga, the Seneca people. It's our understanding that the thunder beings in our stories, they originate at the falls. So even smaller nations from around the Great Lakes area came to this place in particular, not only because it was good fishing and good hunting grounds, but also because of the mighty Niagara. So you had this powerful place that just naturally draws people here, still does to this day.
We're commemorating the 300th anniversary of the establishment of the Magazin Royal. This was a trading post that was created by Lieutenant Louis-Thomas Chabert de Jonquière. He was an officer of the Compagnie Franche de la Marine. He was a trader and a diplomat. He had very close relations with the Seneca who lived in this neighborhood.
This is really the jump off of the main relationship between the French and the surrounding natives here. They had a good relationship as far as trade and commerce and you know, working together at an early stage.
Of course, you can't navigate Niagara Falls either way in a boat. So this was the lower landing on the lower river, and you got out of the water here and you portaged or carried your boats and your cargo up the Niagara escarpment and put everything back in the water above Niagara Falls. So this was a really strategic spot, and Native people had used this portage for millennia before the arrival of any Europeans.
Going from the lower land into the upper river, it gets you into the rest of the interior of the country. So understanding that this place was important because of that, because it connects the rest of the Great Lakes to actually to let you get to the east so you can get to the ocean and vice versa.
The French realized that this was a very strategically important spot, and they were very much afraid that the English would establish a post here first, and that would cut off other French settlements like Detroit. By this time, Louisiana was established. So this area was critical to the French to maintain communications among their colonies here in North America.
For everything to come through here at one point in time makes this area specifically and this Magazin Royal, this grand store, the very first pretty much permanent trading post, so to speak, that's going on.
So the French gain a foothold here on the Niagara at the lower landing. But this is a bark building. It's about 30 by 40 feet in size. And they decide almost right after the construction of this building that a stronger, more fortified post would be necessary. And they begin negotiating for that. From 1720 until 1726, when Fort Niagara was established, this was really the focal point of native French interaction on the Niagara. We're going to recreate the arrival of Jonquière and his party, about 10 men. Our intrepid crew is going to start early in the morning, and they're going to paddle up the Niagara River, the 7 miles from Fort Niagara to the lower landing. That's no mean feat. Very, very strong current. They're going to come up the gully, the original gully on the very land that this happened 300 years ago.
But also what's significant is that we kind of tried to pack as much articles that we could that we know that they actually brought. So we're actually able to put some of these goods, bring them up, and with our native interpreters, there's kind of like a get-together.
And then we'll have a number of interpretive stations scattered around the park where people can learn more about the early 18th century.
To have this kind of event, to have people more familiar with this part of history, It's wonderful.
If I can physically get involved, if I can touch some of those things from that time, if I could, have some of those smells from like cooking demonstrations, the music, the black powder, even the way it's burning, I mean, all of that kind of hits all of your senses. And I think it grasps a hold of you a lot better than just, reading it in a book.
And suddenly when I arrive, I see people all dressed up in the time, in their outfit, and I say, wow, this is amazing, because I will say, you see the real history working in front of you. To see this, and you see the people are really passionate. And I think in history, people are all passionate.
We're trying to get the best representation of what historically was correct and what we should be teaching, which is all aspects and all vantage points of our history here in the North American continent, which involves the French, the Native Americans, the British.
We really wanted to raise public awareness of the strategic importance of this spot and of the whole Niagara corridor.
I believe history, it's very active, even if, we get Native American, we get French soldier representative, everything like that. It's very active. And I think for maintaining the history, also the unity of the country, I think it's a common share cultural thing. And I would say for American, it's part of the American history.
This seemed like a great opportunity to really highlight the early history of the region, which is not just about Fort Niagara, and it's not just about the lower landing. It's about all of the Niagara River and what was happening when this was one of the most strategically important places in all of North America.
This place being of that importance, I think, for all of those associations to come together, it's our duty, it's our responsibility to kind of get that word out there that, there's more than just what's going on today. The history is really what makes today, makes us able to do what we do today.
Well, planning for this has been going on for over a year, and it's involved about 6 different organizations. Art Park, of course, was the host. Old Fort Niagara. The Historical Association of Lewiston put together a terrific exhibit. The Niagara Falls National Heritage Area supported us financially, and Village of Lewiston, the Tuscarora Nation. All of these organizations really came together to make this a success.
Passing it on to the coming generations is really what it's about. Our responsibility as, Ongwe is to be caretakers of the land. So for us to share the knowledge that we have to pass it on to those coming generations is really important to make their lifestyle a lot easier to help them understand what else needs to be done.